My pleasant and supreme namaskarams. We need to have knowledge of Hinduism, Haindava Dharma, Hindu Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. We must know first of all the importance of Haindava Dharma, Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism in order to preserve the ancient wisdom, culture and traditions of Bharat, that is India. In our constitution, we have already mentioned Bharat, that is India, is the name of our country. So, to know what is Bharat, that is India, we must know the foundational principles. These foundational principles, deeply rooted in truth and spiritual progress, are not merely a religion but a way of life, encompassing universal harmony, morality and righteousness. Let us see what are these principles and philosophy of Hinduism. Haindava Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma meaning eternal order or eternal law, represents the timeless and universal principles that have guided humanity for centuries. Now we are trying to know about Sanatana Dharma, which principles guided humanity for centuries. It focuses on values such as Satya, truth, Ahimsa, non-violence, self-discipline, compassion and spiritual evolution, ensuring harmony among all beings. We must know Advaitam, Advaita Vedanta. This is propounded by Adi Shankaracharya. Advaita Vedanta teaches the non-duality of existence, emphasizing the unity of the individual soul Atman and the universal soul Brahman. It encourages self-realization and liberation, moksha, through the path of knowledge, Jnana Yoga. Then Dvaitam, Dvaita Vedanta, developed by Madhavacharya. Dvaita Vedanta emphasizes the dualistic relationship between God, Brahman and the individual soul Atman. It promotes bhakti, that is devotion, as the means to achieve liberation. Other key philosophies. Visishta Advaita, a blend of Advaita and Dvaita propounded by Ramanujacharya, asserting the unity of Brahman while maintaining individuality. Nyaya and Vaisheshika, schools of thought focusing on logic, reasoning and metaphysics. Yoga and Samakya emphasize both practical and theoretical disciplines to attain liberation through the control of mind and body. Then let us know what is Hindu Dharma and Hinduism. Differences and importance. Haindava Dharma. It specifically emphasizes the culture, social and spiritual aspects of Hindu life in Bharat. It incorporates rituals, traditions and practices that unify Hindus globally. Sanatana Dharma refers to the timeless and universal values that apply to all beings, transcending any particular culture or tradition. Both Haindava Dharma and Sanatana Dharma form the bedrock of Hinduism, connecting ancient philosophies with contemporary relevance. Hinduism, principles and philosophy. Haindava Dharma, Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma meaning eternal order or eternal law, represents the timeless principles of Hinduism. Like this, other key philosophies also we must know. Unless and until we know all these things, we will not be able to understand what is called Hinduism, and its evolution. This yoga and samkhya is a practical and theoretical disciplines for attaining liberation. History and evolution of Hinduism. Vedic period, this is very important, 1500 to 500 BCE, originated in the Indus Valley civilization, transitioning into the Rigvedic traditions. Epics and Puranas. The Ramayana, Mahabharata and Puranas became integral to Hindu practices. Bhakti development emphasized personal devotion and brought Hinduism closer to the masses. What are the modern reforms and movements? Efforts by leaders like Swami Vivekananda, Dayananda Saraswati and others revived Hindu principles to counter colonial influences. Steps to protect Hinduism and temples. Legal measures. Enforce the Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Act to safeguard the temple properties and ensure transparent administration till that act is in force. In fact, we want this act to be removed and a new and separate act be prepared and placed and passed so as to curb the wrong things that are being done under this act. Then prevent unauthorized occupation of temple lands under the Telangana Land Grabbing Prohibition Act 1982 and similar laws in other states. Invoke the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958 to protect heritage temples. Apart from these legal measures, the educational reforms also shall be done. Introduce Hindu philosophy, values and history in school curricula. Promote Sanskrit and other classical languages to preserve scriptures. Make all the students to understand what is and read Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata and Puranas, Vedas and other important scriptures of Hinduism. Judicial and administrative actions. File petitions to restore temple autonomy relying on judgments like the Sabarimala case 2018 and others protecting religious rights. Campaign against conversion and enforce existing anti-conversion laws. Recently, in some state, maybe in Uttar Pradesh, when an attempt to conversion is done without accepting by the person who want to be converted, punishment is given. Apart from that, in Bhimavaram, in Kanakapanavasri temple, after a long fight in Supreme Court, the committee is now administrating all the affairs of the temple without the intervention and control of the government. Judicial and administrative actions. We need to file petitions to restore temple autonomy relying on judgments like Sabarimala case and other protecting religious rights. Community involvement. Encourage cultural festivals, rituals and practices to foster unity. Establish legal aid cells to handle cases of religious discrimination or property disputes. In a judgment of Telangana High Court, a person who doesn't even enter into the temple but by standing outside, he used to pray the god, filed a petition to protect the properties of the temple. The Honorable High Court, after considering the locus standi, allowed him to prosecute that petition by holding that he is entitled to file the petitions to protect the properties of the temple, even though he has no direct concern with the temple, because temple properties are the public properties. Public properties have to be protected by the any concerned person who is having interest to do so. Steps to preserve and protect Hinduism. Educational initiatives include Hindu philosophies and Sanskrit scriptures in school curricula to enlighten the younger generation. And then relevant constitutional articles and provisions. First is freedom of religion. Article 25 to 28. 25 ensures freedom of consciousness and the right to freely profess, practice and propagate religion subject to public order, morality and health. So you have a freedom of consciousness and the right to freely profess and practice and propagate religion with certain subjections. Article 26 grants religious denominations the right to manage their own affairs in matter of religion. Article 27 prohibits compelling citizens to pay taxes for promoting any religion. Article 28 says prohibits religious instruction in educational institution maintained by the state funds. So cultural and educational rights, Article 29 and 30. 29-30 says protect the rights of communities to conserve their culture and establish institutions for religious and cultural purposes. In the Directive Principles of State Policy, Article 48 says it protects cows and promotes the preservation of cattle resources. Then we have judicial decisions which are very important. One is Sri Venkataramana Devaru versus State of Mysore 1958. It affirmed the right of temples to manage religious affairs. Then we have Sirur Mutt case 1954, which define what constitutes religious practices under Article 26B. Then we have Sabarimala judgment 2018, which says balanced constitutional morality and religious freedoms, highlighting challenges in reconciling both. Key legal cases to protect temple and Hindu rights. Rama Muthurama Lingam versus Deputy Commissioner HR and CE 2019 recognize the temple's role as a public trust. ISKCON versus State of Maharashtra 1976 affirmed the rights of Hindu organizations to propagate and practice their faith. Tirupati temple case addressed misuse of temple funds and the necessity for administrative reforms. What are the recommendations that we need to give for protecting Hinduism and Hindu temples? First is amendments to protect temples. Ensure autonomy of temples by minimizing the state control. Rather, remove the state control and give it to a separate body, or make a big temples as a union territory. In fact, a case is filed by Dr. K. F. Paul to declare Tirupati or Balaji district as a union territory. Of course, the same is dismissed due to various other reasons. But until and unless a temple becomes a separate country or a unit or union territory, injustice cannot be stopped. Then strengthen anti-conversion laws, prevent forceful or deceitful religious conversions. Then funding for religious education, promote Vedic and Sanskrit studies through government-backed scholarships. Even industries can spare some amount to do these things. Awareness campaigns, highlight the inclusive and tolerant principles of Hinduism to counter misinformation. By conclusion, what I say is, Hinduism's principles and philosophies embody the essence of universal truth and spiritual progress. It is imperative to protect and preserve these timeless traditions for future generations. Let us work collectively to ensure that the rich legacy of Haindava Dharma and Sanatana Dharma continues to flourish. I comprehensively address the principles, history, constitutional provisions and legal mechanisms to protect Hinduism, temples and rights of Hindus. If any other information is there, I am ready to know about it, and I am conducting a search to know mainly about these aspects and to interact with others. Hinduism says, the Hindu religion says, Sarve Jana Sukhini Bhavantu, which means entire world has to have happiness. All the people. Sanatana Dharma says, you put questions. and search for the answers. Not only the answers which you know, but also get the answers by interacting with others and do righteous things. Previously in villages, there used to be some heads who were looking after the lifestyle or maintaining all aspects which are necessary for the growth and development and happiness of the individuals. They were acting really as family members, as gurus and leaders, but we are missing it now. So, Sanatana Dharma is a way of life. While doing or performing or passing in that way of life, you also have to have blessings of divine. The divine blessings you get from the God when you are doing the work of others with sacrifice, transparently, and for the happiness of one and all. You know very well, nowadays we, after the corona, came to know that no one is happy unless everyone is happy. So, community interest is the best interest and the public interest. So, unless you do some good act by way of sacrifice or by way of donation, you don't get that happiness and the divine blessings. So, with this, in order to protect the Hinduism, Hindu temples, and to follow the rituals and customs and Vedas of our country, we need to have a complete knowledge of the same. Thereafter, implement it. You know very well, Garuda bird and ant. Ant moves very slowly. The bird Garuda with that wings can fastly go, but some occasions this bird doesn't use that strength and keeps quiet. Then what happens? Even though ant is very slowly moves, it reaches and gets the goal. So what is needed is you need to do some work, have a movement. For that you don't require to know what is the good time, what is the good day. Every second is a good time, every day is a good day. Start now interacting with others. Stop the silence and do something in the path of knowing the yourself and God. Then you will get all answers. Unless and until you protect yourself and you protect your temple, you cannot remain happy. As I said, no one is happy unless everyone is happy. Everyone will be happy only when you do your act firmly, transparently, with sacrifice, and by gifting happiness to others. We are all artists. Our life is very short. Any second, any moment may happen anything. You may lose your life. So, please follow and do what Hindu rituals, Hindu matas, Hindu religion and Sanatana Dharma says, and then get happiness and give happiness to all and make the society a place to get full of happiness. Thank you. Thank you very much.